Okay, here we are. One more video on boot camp. Now, by this time we already paid the guy another 80 bucks. So he's got 270 bucks in less than 2 weeks, right? He's got more money than a college graduate, 2 weeks. Anyway, I got to pay him. Now, before I get into the final phase of this thing, this is a funny little story. There's this guy in our unit. He's an Italian guy, and he's from Brooklyn. He's got the big Brooklyn accent, you know, and he's a little guy. And anyway, we're at Chow Hall, and I tell you, it's like March, April kind of time frame, but it's snowing out, and there's maybe like 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground. So we're coming out of Chow Hall now. Coming out of Chow Hall, we're not gonna march. We're just gonna run, and our barracks wasn't that far, you know. But anyway, there's a guy out there, a drill instructor, and he's screaming at this kid. He's got this kid doing jumping jacks. Not very good at jumping jacks, okay? Really bad jumping jacks, as a matter of fact. Anyway, he's doing that, so we just say, hey, let's get out of here, put the helmet on, we take off. So we're running, right? What we don't know is, right, the last guy out, or not the last guy out, but anyway, this Italian guy, the drill instructor reaches over and grabs him, and he's going by. Get him here, kid. He says, show this guy how to do jumping jacks and start doing jumping jacks. So now he's standing there and he starts doing the jumping jacks, you know, to show this other kid how to do jumping jacks, which is pretty bad when you have to show somebody how to do jumping jacks. But anyway, in the meantime, we're back to the barracks. So our barracks are really close, so we can look over. So we're looking out and we see this guy, and we know who it is, right? And we see him out there doing the jumping jacks, trying to get this other guy to do the jumping jacks correctly. Well, the other guy was useless. I mean, I never saw anybody as uncoordinated as that guy was. He couldn't do a jumping jack, not even close. He's all over the place. And the drill instructor is now taking a break. He's just watching the Italian guy show him, right? Well, little unbeknownst to us, the Italian guy later on is telling us, he is swearing at that kid because he's dying. He's over there doing his jumping jacks, you know, for a long time. And he's swearing at this kid, you stupid son of a, you know. And we're just watching it from the window. And then, finally, after a long period of time, I don't know how many jumping jacks he did, but he did a lot of jumping jacks. The guy says, all right, kid, hit it. Get out of here, you know, to our buddy of ours. He starts running back to our barracks. He gets about 4 or 5 steps. He gets his big Charlie horse, and he goes, boom, down in the snow. He got back to the barracks. He was so pissed off. And he's telling us, I was telling that son of a, you know. But anyway, it was just a funny story. You know, it's one of those things you had to be there, had to go through it, but it was very funny. Anyway, the next day we have marching on a grinder, okay, but we have a commencement exercise. So the commencement exercise is everybody all lined up, you know, and stuff. And they tell us, okay, now here's what's going to happen. Nothing in your pockets. Nothing in your pockets. Your pea coat or anything. Nothing in the pocket. And they have pea coats on. It was cold. So nothing in your pockets, because they might inspect, and they actually inspect your pockets. They could, anyway. So, and they tell us, you know, the hats and all this stuff. So, all this stuff. So we're as ready as anybody else, I guess, at the time, you know, except if they had to march us. If they had to march, we marched once around in front of the grandstand, and we were a mess. There was no other way to explain it. We were bad. Anyway, but we get out there early, you know, we get lined up and everything else. And this one guy in our unit, apparently, he's got bridge work. Some false teeth. And something happens, he drops them, and they break. So he goes, oh, what am I going to do now? I got these, you know, he's got them in his hand. So I go, hey, give them to me. Put them in my pocket. I don't want to touch them. Put them in my pocket, because I'm in front of the unit. I'm not going to get inspected, you know. And the guy even said, because I asked him, I said, hey, what do you? He said, put them in your pocket. You won't get inspected. I put them in he puts them in my pocket, right? we get out there. Guy comes around, he comes up to the petty officer, talks to him a minute. And he comes over to me, looks me over and asks something, I don't know. But then he goes to check my pocket. And I'm like, and he goes, what? He looks at me like, what? I go, and he goes, what are you saying? So, I'm like, you're not supposed to talk to him, okay? So I'm like, he goes, hey, I want to inspect your pocket. And it was like, okay. He sticks his hand in and he goes, what the hell? Pulls it out. And he goes, what the hell is this? Guy dropped it, broke it. He jams it back in my pocket, wipes his hand off. Anyway, he goes through the whole thing. And we all graduate, right? So we come back, we're sitting around, and we're supposed to leave in like 2 or 3 hours. We're supposed to head down to the airport, So this is our last day, right? And it was our last day. So the guy comes in, our commanding, our petty officer, and he's got a monkey on his shoulder. He's got a monkey, a kind of monkey that, if you ever saw in the movies, a little organ grinder or somebody panhandling there, and he's got a little monkey to pick up stuff and that's the kind of monkey it was. So he goes, Duffy, come on, come here. I go down, I go in the office, and he tells me, he said, he's got, and the monkey jumps from him to me on my shoulder and stuff. That monkey smelled like, I grabbed the monkey like this, put him over here. Anyway, he goes, yeah, this monkey, I bought this monkey as a mascot for the unit. I go, really? And he says, we're leaving in like 2 hours. He says, now, of course, I'm going to keep the monkey after you guys leave. So I'm like, yeah. So I said, he says, now, I figure that, but you guys ought to pay at least half of what the monkey costs. So I go, well, that sounds fair enough. I said, let me guess, the monkey costs $160. And he goes, right. Because it was a big game at this point. He goes, right. So I go to the door, open the door to tell the guys, hey, come up with another buck. Here's George Bonacore, a guy in the unit. He's standing there, got a pile of bills in his hand. He says, put a buck on the top. He says, we just bought a monkey, didn't we? I go, we bought half a monkey. I put my buck on top, turned around, gave him the money. But again, the door closed. I gave him the money, So, and we get on a bus and we leave, And the only situation after that was going home. Apparently, the United or whatever airline we were flying had problems with sailors, getting on a plane. But you're almost a full flight of sailors. And kids 18, 19 years old, and the guys like us, Well, they wouldn't serve any beer or wine or anything, no booze at all. And it really ticked off some of the guys, because some of the guys are 2 weeks, I didn't drink, so it didn't bother me any, but some of these guys, I'm writing a letter. Anyway, but there was no booze. Didn't bother me any. So we get home, and, a week later or whatever it was, I got to go to reserve duty. So I go down to reserve duty, and I go walking in, and a couple of guys go, hey, Duffy, get over here. Oh, the CO's looking for you. And the commanding officer, right? CO's looking for you. What's he looking for me for? I don't know, but he wants to see you as soon as you get in. He says, if anybody sees him, tell Duffy to get down to my office. So I go, okay, I go down to his office. I say, he says, hey, get in here. He says, now, stick right here, sit down. He says, I'm not sure what's going on, but Naval Intelligence had a couple guys down here, and they want to talk to you. And they said, when he gets in here, hold him until we get here. Don't let him go. I'm like, hold him until we get here? What the hell is going on? So these two guys show up from Naval Intelligence. And they come in, And they start talking to me about boot camp. You know, I started talking to me. They said, hey, you know, this, that, and the other thing. And he said, you went to boot camp recently. Yeah, I just got back, you know. Well, how was boot camp? Oh, it was pretty good. You know, I didn't want to say anything, you know. I said, it was okay. They said, yeah, anything interesting happened in boot camp? No. So then they go, your drill instructor, tell us a little bit about your drill instructor. He's a little guy, you know, nice, boom, 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 you know. So they go, then they said, did anything strange happen that you didn't expect to happen at boot camp? So I go, well, yeah, I mean, the guy, to be honest with you, the guy was collecting money off us, you know? And so he said, the guy says, well, how much money did you pay the guy? We paid him like $4 a piece, you know, and at the end of the day, $4 a piece. So I said, but how did you know about something strange going on? They said, no, we're going to level with you. Look, there was a plant, a naval intelligence guy, plant in your unit, and went through the boot camp with us. So he saw everything. So I go, well, he knows what went on, you know what I mean? Holy crow. So he says, yeah, he does. He's got everything down. But nobody ever saw, he never saw the money transferred. He never saw, you know, you give the guy the money. So I said, yeah, I had to go down to his office and give him the money. So he goes, well, we need you to testify that you gave him the money. He's, you know. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll testify. You know what? I don't have any problem with that, you know. So they go, okay. Then he write down stuff, you know. Anyway, then just the whole time in the back of my mind, I was saying, oh, geez, he's going to ask me. So he finally, I'm ready to leave. And he says, hey, Duff. What? I stop again. He says, tell me, why didn't you come forward, you know, and tell us? You know, tell us something, report this to somebody. And I go, well, I said, for $4, no drilling, no marching, no, you know. And they start laughing, and they go, get the hell out of here. So I got off okay. You know, I'm don't forget, I'm in the process of getting a top secret clearance, you know. So, but what was funny was, it turned out, get this, that the trial took a while before the guy came to trial, you know, and I was put on a legal hold. I didn't know it, you know, but I was put on a legal hold, so I couldn't go. Like, they give us a dream sheet when we actually went on active duty. I got, you know, finally got down, my clearance came through. I go to active duty, and I go to Brooklyn Navy Yard first, and when you get to the Navy Yard, you had to fill out these, what they call a dream sheet, like what would your preferences be? And different, you know, different depending on your, I don't know what the rank or rate, you know, depending on your rate, there were different options. I mean, if you're an airborne guy, you're different than a submariner or something like that. So anyway, but I'm putting down, you know, I had in naval intelligence, a naval security group guys had aircraft carriers, submarines, and then everything was foreign locations, duty stations, no CONUS, no continental United States. Couldn't pick anything in the continental United States. And then that was it. Yeah, no CONUS, aircraft carrier or a submarine. So I filled it out, picked out whatever, you know, I picked nice spots to go. And then when they finally, every day they'd be posting stuff, and guys would come up and get their orders, you know, and or not get their orders, find out where they're going, and then they'd head there, you know, they'd check out and go. So I go up, somebody says, hey, your name's posted on the list, you know, after about 6 weeks or something like that. I finally go up, and my name's on the list, and it says Fort Myers. I go, what the hell's Fort Myers? I don't know, I'm looking around, you know, find somebody who knew where Fort Myers was. Finally, find some guy who says, Fort Myers, it's in Virginia, it's Washington, D.C., it's right across, right next to Washington, D.C. I go, really? I'm going to Fort Myers? What the hell am I going to Fort Myers for, you know? And then I thought, maybe it's back to this, you know, legal thing. And it turned out it was a legal hold, and they didn't want me going overseas anywhere. They wanted me shot, I guess, I was a witness. So it ended up to my benefit. I ended up, getting a duty station in the United States instead of going overseas. So, it had another edge to it that was pretty good for me, Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, guys. Take care.